Hi, Madhuri. Are, are,
Hello.
you- are you able to hear me and see me?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
great,
yes.
great.
So, hello everyone. Please welcome Dr. Gaurav Deka, who's a multiple award winner and an international trauma resolution expert and a systemic coach. He is here to talk about how the attachment trauma affects our relationship.
Thank you, Madhuri, for this beautiful introduction every single time. Is my voice audible to everyone?
Yes, yes,
Okay, great,
it's fine for me.
great. Right. So yeah, let's go ahead with it. I think we do have people joining in.
Hmm. Yes. So last time we spoke about what is attachment trauma and the four types of attachment trauma.
Hmm.
So could you please just go through it quickly once? Very
Yeah,
little. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So basically spoke that there are four different kinds of attachment trauma which plays out in
Hmm.
our life in various ways. Um, they are broadly categorized as secure attachment and insecure
Hmm.
attachment. Secure
Hmm.
is when you are able to coherently communicate, you are able to put out your words, articulate, connect with the world, with your own emotion, with your parents, with the environment. That's secure attachment. Under
Hmm.
insecure attachment comes avoidant attachments, wherein people may want to pull away, children may want to pull
Hmm.
away from their parents, disconnect, withdraw, go into their own shell. Then we have anxious attachments where children may really want to cling on to the parents or may want to, may feel that they are really preoccupied with anxiety.
Hmm.
Whenever they go away, they feel extremely scared and scattered and they cannot gather themselves up. And then in the end, we have disorganized attachment,
Hmm.
which
Yeah.
basically is sort of a little complex. It's a combination of anxious and avoidant. But in all of these, in disorganized attachment, we find that these people can also come from abusive backgrounds, wherein the
Hmm.
family went through abuse, or maybe the mother or the father or the primary caregiver maybe have abused the child in some way or the other. So their
Hmm.
way of interacting with the world and their way of communicating with the world becomes extremely disorganized. They don't know whether they want or not want to give in, want to pull away. So basically, they
Hmm.
somehow keep on fluctuating between anxiety and wanting to simply withdraw. So that's again disorganized. So these were the four
Yeah.
different attachment styles.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And we had to talk about what, even last time, there were a lot of questions which are pouring in. How do these affect our relationship with our other half?
Right.
So, I have few questions that people have asked me.
Hmm.
So, I would like to ask those questions. So somebody asked me that I don't get to be as intimate as I would want to. Can it be
Hmm.
something to do with attachment trauma?
Absolutely. In fact, all your intimate relationships, and they may
Hmm.
not simply mean relationship with the spouse, but an intimate relationship can also be present with a co-worker, a friend, someone you
Hmm.
confide into. Even between a client and a therapist, attachment styles play out, by the way. So,
Yes.
so
Yes.
our inability to be intimate is a reflection of our inability to feel safe with another person. Where does
Hmm.
the primary form of safety or the feeling of being safe come to us from? It comes from our primary caregiver, which is our
Wow.
mom
Hmm.
or maybe our
Hmm.
dad. So maybe
Hmm.
there are experiences in our life as children
Hmm.
where we may not have felt safe with mom. We
Hmm.
may not have felt safe with dad. So I would ask this individual to look into how safe do they feel with their partner, and if they don't feel
Hmm.
safe, then how, what compromised the sense of safety when they were children,
Hmm.
and if they felt safe with their mom or with their dad. So that would be my short answer. Of
Yeah.
course, if I extend it, it's going to go
Yes,
to
yes,
some other levels.
definitely.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, it will be a full-fledged session altogether. But
Session.
yes,
Yes.
some direction, some
Yeah. Yeah.
direction.
Yeah.
Okay. So so while you were explaining this, this thing just kind of struck me. So it also happens a lot with your client and a therapist. So I was just wondering. So it would be if the um, what kind of relationship would it be between client and therapist? If it is avoidant, then I think either one of the client or the therapist, they would avoid. Somebody would message and the therapist is avoiding, or the therapist would message out and the client is avoiding. Uh, Anxious could be,
I
I guess, when yeah.
I'm going to tell you how many clients do you have? How many clients do you
Huh.
have who tell you,
Hmm.
am I your favorite client? Did I do good today?
Okay.
I think the session went very well. Don't you think it
Hmm.
went really well? Did I do good? These are children who are looking for
Yes.
validation, approval.
Yes.
These are
Yes.
reflective of anxious attachments that please don't go away from me. I am good. Why don't you look
Hmm.
at me? Did I do good
Yeah.
today? So that's anxious attachment
Yes.
somehow.
Yes. And as a therapist, you got to work on yourself, that why are you attracting such clients?
As a therapist, we need to again
Huh.
not only maintain our boundaries, but
Hmm.
also become aware that, oh, this client is looking at me from the parental lens, but I'm not a parent.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
uh, so sometimes I ask my client that, could you please tell me your age once again? And they suddenly and they suddenly come
Oh
back to
God.
being the adult.
Okay. I
Yeah.
have done a lot with you, I think, like this. I have done a lot.
Right.
Yes. Yes. It was wanting to do everything right,
Right.
or uh, what do you say? Maybe the best. Okay, so I am the best client to have, or
Yeah.
wanting
Yeah.
that validation. And I
Yeah.
remember I would used to share a lot of my artwork with you,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
would want that. Yes. So there was one more question that was same, I think, an intimacy be because of attachment trauma that we have already worked on. Um, so there is somebody who asked me that my earlier boyfriend um,
Mm-hmm.
has not loved me as much as I have, and
Mm.
and this has been like a pattern. So the people,
Mm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just a moment,
Yeah. Yeah.
something,
Yeah. Sure. Sure.
yeah, fine.
Mm-hmm.
So her question was, earlier boyfriends have not loved me
Mm-hmm.
as much as I have loved them, and
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of a pattern, and she's really, trying to find out answer with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, how does attachment trauma play a role in this situation?
I think it's similar to what I just described right now.
Hmm.
Sometimes we feel so our love languages are
Hmm.
different. The way
Hmm.
we receive love and the way we give love is very different from different people. Probably for someone, making a nice dish in the evening when the spouse comes home and offering them that dish and seeing them eat it with great relish
Hmm.
is the way they express love. And
Hmm.
maybe for someone else, it could simply be spending some intimate time watching a movie, physically
Hmm.
cuddling together. So for
Hmm.
someone, it could be physicality, and for someone, it could be the act of serving. What I'm trying to
Hmm.
say is that we learn these love languages as we grow up, the way we
Hmm.
receive love from our parents.
Hmm.
Sometimes
Hmm.
we are made to feel, or we go through experiences where we feel that in order to have love from my parent, I need to
Hmm.
be a good boy or a good girl. For example,
Hmm.
let's say there's a birthday party or maybe there's a dinner party, three guests, four
Hmm.
guests have come, and the mother calls the son and says that, baby, why don't you show uncle how you can recite this poem so well? And
Hmm.
baby doesn't want to recite the poem, but he does it because he has to be a good boy, because he's told
Yeah.
that if you recite the poem, you are going to be a good boy, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
baby learns that, okay, if I do this for mom, I will be loved, because he does not understand what good boy means. He understands that if
That if
I
I do
do
this,
this, I will be loved.
yes.
So
Hmm.
look at your love language. Look at how you
Hmm.
may have played certain roles in your childhood wherein you needed to
Hmm.
do something in order to have love. And maybe you were meant to believe in that. Maybe that's
Hmm.
how the
Hmm.
family structure with children worked.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
That's a lot about the good girl and good boy
good boy.
syndrome. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so somebody asks me, there is a part of me that's always hidden, always, and
Mm,
no one really knows me, even my husband. I somehow, I mean, cannot trust him fully.
mm, mm.
So how would that connect with the so the trust with her parents? How
So when we
maybe
use
she
the word
was,
hiding,
yeah,
when we use
yes.
the word hiding,
Hmm.
the image that I get is going into one's room and locking themselves up
Hmm.
and being there. And there could be several, I would say, aspects to it. One of the aspects could also be shame, um,
Hmm.
because we may want to hide out of shame. So that's one aspect. However, I'm not going there because shame is complex. What I'm
Hmm.
interested is, um, uh, did you need to hide something from your parents about yourself?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
there something in you that you felt shameful about admitting in front of your parents? Is it
Hmm.
so that you have seen people admitting what you went through in your family, maybe a cousin, and they went through something traumatic with their parents? Maybe their parents simply pushed them away or disacknowledged them
Hmm.
or disowned them, and you absorbed that fear and thought that this could happen to me
Hmm.
as well. But
Yes.
most importantly, my question would be, in fact, my explanation would be, we hide because we also
Hmm.
want to be away from exposure, and we want to
Hmm.
be away from exposure simply because exposing may risk us to feel unsafe again.
Hmm.
Sometimes, we don't reach out to our parents because we feel that our parents may reject us.
Hmm.
They may not approve of us. They may push us away. And it could be something
Hmm.
simple like, um, let's say mom has back pain and I am 6, and I
Hmm.
know that she goes and lies down in bed at 5 in the evening.
Hmm.
How could I disturb mom by asking her to come to me in my room and play with me?
Hmm.
So the thing is, the child also learns that, let me not overexhaust mom. Let me
Hmm.
not ask mom. Let me not do this so that mom gets to
Yeah.
get rest. And as a result of which, although mom is not at fault, child is not at fault, but the child learns to disconnect from mom in order to
Yeah.
preserve something that is the bond. So sometimes we may also
Hmm.
hide because we want to preserve the bond that we
Yeah.
have with our primary caregiver, and we may
Yeah.
disconnect and withdraw to sustain what we have. Because if I come and speak, maybe what I have with my mom, even that is going to go away.
Yes.
So withdrawing can have, and disconnecting and hiding can have many aspects to it.
Amen.
There's not a single aspect. It could be shame. It could be I can't reach out to my parents because they might reject me. It might be the fear
Hmm.
of losing the bond that I have with my mom or with my dad by
Hmm.
exposing or
Hmm.
by speaking my truth. So it could be, there are many aspects to it. But one aspect
Hmm.
is, but the primary aspect is, I want to disconnect. That's the primary aspect.
Yeah. 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 Beautiful. You explain such um beautifully. It's I mean the person goes in a trance for a while.
Thank you.
Okay. So someone is asking, can you say something on being the giver in the relationship in fear of losing that significant other?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think for a lot of people, especially for people who are interested in the healing profession and
Hmm.
who are also in the healing profession. And
Hmm.
I would like to believe that people who are watching this live are people who are interested in the healing profession. So,
Hmm.
so what I would say, most of us are also empaths, right?
Hmm.
And as an empath, we learn to give.
Yeah.
We connect so sensibly to others' pains, their sorrow,
Hmm.
their suffering, and therefore we want to give. But then, all
Hmm.
of these children who are empaths also started their journey in
Hmm.
childhood as an inner pleaser. As I said, that they
Yes.
had to somehow take care of
Hmm.
mom, or they had to somehow take care of dad. When I teach inner child healing and when I teach family constellation, I call this phenomenon as parentification. That sometimes,
Yes.
because of certain circumstances, because of
Hmm.
the unavailability of another parent, because of, let's say, one parent has passed away, maybe mom is ill,
Hmm.
maybe
Hmm.
dad is struggling with mom and he cannot speak to her about it, so he leans on us and we give
Hmm.
them the emotional shoulder, and we become their confidantes, and we
Yeah.
become their parent, proxy parent, and that's why we call it
Hmm.
parentification. and
Parentification.
and it's a
Yes.
huge subject, and I've seen that all empaths begin their journey from parentification. That's what I see,
Hmm.
and that's what
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
the eternal giver. The parentified child is the eternal giver in the relationship.
Yeah. Yes. Lovely. Lovely. Somebody is asking how to support your ex when he is going through a loss of loved one.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think my question to them would be, do you have the skill set to support them? Do you have the interventions, the methods,
Hmm.
the ways, the principles to to do something for them? You can definitely
Hmm.
hold space for them, you know, but
Hmm.
then probably it is best to lead them to a professional instead of you doing all the work. And if you
Hmm.
are,
Hmm.
and if you face a burnout, while doing this, then the natural impulse is to feel guilty. But then that is also an opening for you to check that what is it in you that you always want to help others, especially your loved
Yeah.
ones. That could tell a lot about your relationship with your mom or your dad, that maybe
Hmm.
you are the child who had to be the inner peacemaker. You are the child that
Hmm.
had to be the inner caretaker. You are the child who had to be the primary caregiver instead of mom or instead of dad.
Hmm. Yes. Yes. It also I think speaks a lot about boundaries, but even those you can create when uh, the
Hmm.
rest of the things are in place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I also feel that attachment trauma, impacts our sense of boundaries a lot, because
Yes.
if I grow up as a pleaser, I may not know what are my needs, um,
Hmm.
what do I want, what is my desire, if my at all, because I am all the time taking care of others' needs, my parents' needs. So I might
Hmm.
as well not exist. My desires might as well not
Hmm.
exist. So that way, the boundaries are also depleted.
Yep. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
So there were two more questions. One was that how to react in a situation uh, when the parents are going through a difficult time in their marriage but are
Hmm.
not agreeing to it, are not accepting it.
Yeah, I think it's a complex question, because this is a huge topic in constellation work, in family system
Hmm.
work, and in inner child
Hmm.
work,
Hmm.
where
Hmm.
I constantly encourage people not to get into the business of their parents,
Yeah.
simply because when they do get in the business of their parents, they will invariably end up siding with one parent.
Yeah.
And when they end up siding with that parent, they will not only look at the other parent from the
Hmm.
perspective of this parent, but will
Hmm.
also eventually reject this parent and lose this
Yes.
parent. As a
Yeah.
result of which, when they grow up and go live an adult life, they will
Hmm.
carry certain parts of this rejected parent in themselves and will
Hmm.
hate themselves for being
Hmm.
that. If father was
Hmm.
angry and I and mom
Hmm.
rejected father because he is an angry, aggressive person, I might suddenly
Hmm.
find out I am 35, I am married, and now I verbally abuse my children, abuse my wife, and I wonder why am I like this? I do not even have the lens to look back and see that, oh, I hated my father all this
Yeah.
while for being this person, and now I am like this. And that is what
Yes.
happens. And that's why I tell
Yes.
people that get out of the business
Hmm.
of between your parents.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And I think one more question I had,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which was uh, somebody asked that they would get very conscious and
Mm-hmm.
very uncomfortable when there is something that is being discussed in front of the parents.
Mm-hmm.
So, how would that be? That's also, I guess, a lot of uh, I think same that you mentioned before.
I do
Um,
feel that such households
yeah.
will have a history of violence. And by violence, I
Hmm.
don't mean physical
Hmm.
or corporeal, beating and all of that.
Yeah.
By violence, I mean that it could be loud noises, shouting,
Hmm.
decibels going up in the house, the way people
Yeah.
speak to each other. So I would like to believe that there would be such history, and therefore
Yes.
this person, whoever has asked this question, if
Hmm.
this question applies to
Hmm.
their life, that it is 10% chance that they are suffering from post-traumatic stress uh, of
Yes.
growing up in a household like that. We call such trauma as complex trauma. So,
Yeah.
wherein a chronic form of trauma happened
Hmm.
over a long period of time and they were exposed to it over multiple varied events.
Yeah.
So they were probably exposed to, all these household drama and shouting and loud noises over a long period of time, probably in the house, something of that nature. Maybe confrontations
Yes.
happened on a daily basis, and we usually shut down
Hmm.
in such
Yes.
experiences.
Yes.
Our body
Yes.
goes into shock. So
It's
when we
yeah.
come
It
across
huh.
so
Yeah.
when we come across similar experiences like that in an office or maybe in a classroom, in a presentation, when someone speaks to out in a loud voice, our body goes into the same experience and shuts down.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Kind of closing and getting smaller because yeah, when it regularly happens and not having that strength to put a thought in front,
Even in a
it could
relationship, if
be
a partner, let's
yeah.
say, speaks loudly, the partner
Hmm.
may not mean to be aggressive or may not mean to be
Yes.
raw or rude, but if he or she speaks loudly, maybe the other person
Hmm.
simply shrinks and shuts. So
Yes.
that's a trauma response.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you. Please tell us how you have a 6 month long inner child healing and systemic coaching uh, starting from July. So, how would these be handled in the
Yeah.
course? How would
So
trauma, inner child trauma would be? Yeah.
the crux of
Hmm.
attachment dynamics and attachment styles, especially in
Hmm.
relationships, the crux of that is inner child work. We have
Yes.
different names for it. I mean, we may not call it inner child, but we may call it attachment trauma. But at the
Hmm.
end of the day, we understand that there is a traumatized child within who is in
Yeah.
need of healing and
Hmm.
release and integration because it is an unintegrated part of you. That is the part which is playing out in your relationships. And
Hmm.
if you do not heal that part, maybe your relationship is going to be the way it is. So I
Hmm.
would say that our upcoming course, Inner Child Healing in Systemic Family Therapy, is one of the most necessary and primal, nature of program, which is important for every single person who doesn't have attachment trauma, who doesn't have conflicts in relationship coming up. And most people do
Yeah.
not identify that, you know that's because my partner is like this, that's because we are such a couple. That's the kind of explanation they will give. But then they would
Yes.
not want to do the self work, because the self work includes and is pointed in the direction of you re-experiencing all of those emotions that you did as a child. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what our program is about. It's a 6 month
Hmm.
long programs. It's going to start from July 7th
Hmm.
and till December 1st. And
December.
it will have 6 live classes on
Hmm.
every first Wednesday of every single month: July, August, September, October, November, December. And along with that, after every 2 classes, we will have one support sessions by me as well as by other
Hmm.
supervisors in the course, who will help every single participant to not only gather their thoughts, their findings,
Hmm.
their discoveries, their inner child, and bring them together by supporting them. And
Hmm.
it is also open to practitioners, so people who want to enhance their skill, add a new skill, inner child therapists who want to probably learn newer methods to do inner child work can also
Hmm.
join.
Hmm.
For
Hmm.
them, we also have, for everyone actually, but especially for them, we also have 3 recorded demonstrations. So a total of
Wow.
12 classes.
Hmm.
And people who are watching this video right now, who are watching this live, I request all of you to go and join this course, because this is one gift that you will give yourself in order to heal your own attachment trauma with your primary caregivers, your mom and dad, which is going to, you are going to reap a lot out of it in your personal, interpersonal relationships with your, let's say, loved one right now. So, this is one gift that you can give yourself, by which you will be able to bring remarkable changes in the way you are you with your partner. So, in order to register, they can simply visit my Instagram profile, which is
Hmm.
at Dr. Gaurav Deka. And in the header, there is a linktree/, Dr. Deka. If they click on that link in bio, they will be directed towards the link to register for inner child healing in systemic family therapy. And right now, they should do all the more, because we have an early bird pricing going on till the 10th of June. And after that, the price is going to go up. So I urge people to join as soon as possible.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Um, okay, uh, somebody has asked me here also, but
Hmm.
I don't know if I can open it just like that.
Hmm.
Um,
What's the question?
let me. Despite of being very smart and talented, I think somebody wants to say that, okay, despite of being very smart and talented, she has a lot of self-doubts, and this uh,
Mm,
not not able to be as visible as wanted.
yeah,
So this leads to a lot of doubt and hurt.
yeah. You see, intelligence, or
Yeah.
intelligence, or your intellectual ability
Hmm.
is not governed, or is not linked to um, to your own sense of self-worth. I have had
Okay.
people who have had the most, beautiful of bodies. They
Hmm.
are not only physically fit, they look extremely well.
Hmm.
There is nothing
Hmm.
truly to complain about when being seen
Yeah.
from another person's perspective. But then I am no one to say. It's the client who will come and tell you how they feel, and they will have thousand and other complaints about how they
Hmm.
look, and how one eye is squinted and their nose is not sharp
Hmm.
enough, and they feel extremely bad about their hands or their fingers.
Hmm.
Where does it come from? Is it truly about the body that they are complaining? No, they are not complaining about the
Yeah.
body. They are complaining about something deeply inherent in them, from where they try to extract their sense of self-worth, and they can't, because the
Hmm.
inherent sense of self-worth is so challenged as a child
Yeah.
that they are unable to retrieve and rejuvenate it. It's the same with
Hmm.
intelligence
Hmm.
and smartness and confidence as well, that you know you are a high
Yes.
performer, you know you're an overachiever. Why do you then fumble in front of people, or why do you feel that people are out there to reject you, abandon you? Because that's the experience you may have had as a child, that there were
Yeah.
so many expectations out of you that you could not be anything but perfect. And if
Yeah.
you could just move, one step out of that ball of
Hmm.
perfection, maybe you're going to
Yeah.
topple over and fall down, and people are going to look at you and shame you and laugh at you. That's the impression perhaps you got as a child, you know.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
it has nothing to do with IQ. It has nothing to do with smartness or confidence. The inherent
Yes.
sense of self-worth is challenged as a child.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. And
All the more reason to come for inner child healing work.
definitely, definitely, it is one thing that I can really, really vouch for. Inner child healing. It could be into various names. Some call it attachment trauma. Some may
Yeah.
call it with n number of things.
Hmm.
But at the base of it, it is about that lost inner child, which
Right.
is still not integrated, which is still out there waiting for you to connect with it. And
Absolutely.
in my life, I have seen miracles happen.
Yeah.
Everything, just 365-degree things have turned.
Turn.
And more, uh, I study more about it, and it's such a deep thing. I think it's about layers and layers.
Yeah, it's a lot of
That
layers.
Yes, every time you find something new and something that is so beautiful.
Hmm.
And I've also done this course through you,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that has been just exceptional. With Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you for that validation.
validation.
True. My inner
Welcome.
child is coming up and saying, no, thank you. Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So somebody has asked, if you are doing fairly in life, how do you
Fairly
know
well.
you need inner child healing, given that we
Hmm.
all do have some kind of trauma or inner or intergenerational, etc., or the other?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's not a knowing. I would say it would be a calling, you know. Do
Hmm.
you feel the need to address something within you that you haven't been able to resolve? You may still be doing fairly well. I have had lots of clients who are high anxiety clients. They are doing exceptionally well in their life, not only in their professional life, but also with their children, with their husbands, everyone. Well, and when they come to therapy, sometimes, sometimes they may start with, I don't know what to speak about. And I tell them, okay, fine, you don't know what to speak about. Let's start with how you feel about your mom, and that's when it's going to open up. That's when it opens up, because we may not know, or we may not feel the need for this kind
Yeah.
of work, which is fine, and we may be doing exceptionally well in our life, but then it's an inner calling to explore and then
Hmm.
find out what is unhealed.
Yes. Also, just to add with it, I remember, uh, yeah. So just as you mentioned, somebody with very high functioning anxiety,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
person is doing exceptionally well in life. So that person's anxiety is helping them to achieve something. But the
absolutely.
reason he is coming to a therapist is there is one thing, that one special thing which his high functioning anxiety is not letting him get. So whenever there is a block to move from A to B, you need to remove that block, and that is that inner child block.
Absolutely bang on. that's
So
that's bang on. Yeah.
yeah.
Right, right.
So thank you so much. And we are going to join again next Saturday, and we would
Absolutely.
be talking more about attachment trauma.
Yeah.
So there is this thing that intergenerational
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
attachment trauma that we
Yeah,
spoke about.
yeah, yeah.
So let's talk about that next Saturday. I would
Absolutely.
be asking questions. I would be posting a post on it, and please feel free to ask questions. Please comment. Please DM your questions. Um, and please, I mean, do go to his page. I would also share the same. See that link, read about inner child healing, and it is really one thing that you can gift yourself, and it is going to change your life. I mean, this 6 month, your entire life is going to be like 365-degree
Absolutely.
shifted.
I can guarantee that. Thank you. Thank you, Himadri. And just I wanted
Okay.
to make an announcement, which
Yeah.
is, it's unofficial, but it's going to be
Hmm.
official in a couple of days. We will
Yeah.
have we had a master class which was hugely successful on
Oh,
inner
yes.
child
Yes.
trauma. Now
Yeah.
we are going to have a master class coming up next week, Thursday, which will be on attachment trauma and relationships. So it's
Hmm.
a huge opening for all the people who are interested watching this live. And
Hmm.
of course, just keep um, be there, and we'll come up with the link and the poster for the class very soon.
Okay. Okay. Brilliant.
So
Brilliant.
stay
I'll
tuned.
share that. Yes. I'll share that. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for
Okay,
keep taking
thank
out
you.
time.
Thank you.
I will
Thank
be
you so
saving
much.
this live. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Thanks to all the people who came in.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye.